Well, hello, you're not going to believe this. I made a big mistake when I was reading. I forgot to read chapter 11. So luckily, I got some emails from extremely observant kids, and here I am, ready to read chapter 11. So I'm so sorry for that confusion. I guess I was so excited, I just blew right past it. So here is chapter 11, and let's just dive right in. Tata was silent for most of the ride down, hunkered deep inside his thoughts. Marcus could sense that he was trying to assemble a huge puzzle in his mind to make sense out of all they had seen. As they came to the bottom of the mountain, Tata had his theory and explained it all to Marcus in terrifying detail. Some mountains are not just solid rock, Tata began. They are filled with gases and fire and melted rock. Virgil wrote about such a mountain called Etna. So Virgil was a thinker back then, and Etna is a big mountain that is still there, but it's actually a volcano, like Vesuvius. Virgil was one of Rome's famous writers. Virgil told of a terrible eruption, maybe 100 years ago, Tata continued. He said that fire and ash shot from the mountain into the sky. The day turned to night, and a burning cloud swept down the mountain, destroying everything in its path. Tata turned to look at Marcus. I never imagined it could be true, Tata said. I thought it was just an exciting tale, but now we've seen for ourselves. Yes, they had, though Marcus still couldn't quite believe all that had happened. The earth tremors, killer clouds, foul water, dead sheep. Come on up, I know it's very exciting. Flames shooting out of the ground, and that terrifying explosion. It was stranger than any tale Marcus had ever read. It all makes sense, Tata said. What is happening now on Vesuvius tells me that the worst is yet to come, that the entire mountain is about to explode. Marcus shivered, though the heat was searing. Roy loves my books. He wants to eat them. What, will Pompeii be destroyed, he said? Tata was silent for a moment. I have no doubt, Tata said finally. Marcus held Tata tighter. I met an old woman yesterday, a beggar, he said, remembering the old woman's shining green eyes and gnarled hands. She said the strangest thing to me, that Pompeii was doomed, that the city would burn. I thought she was a mad woman, but what she said was right. She could read the future. I don't believe in prophets and witches, Tata said, but nature sends out warnings. Why do you think all the animals have fled? They felt the tremors, scented the sulfur, tested the water. Their instincts told them to flee. Linus would say that the old woman was keenly sensitive, or that she had the mind of a great scientist. It was hard to imagine that poor old hag discussing science with Linus and Tata, but what Tata said made sense. Where will we go? Marcus asked. Tata didn't answer right away. Then he slowed Peg to a stop and turned in the saddle to face Marcus. We need to warn the people of Pompeii, he said. They have no idea what is about to happen. If we don't warn them, they could all be killed. It took Marcus a moment for Tata's words to sink in. Was he really saying they should go to the very city that was about to be destroyed? A city where slave hunters were prowling through every alley with their spears and chains? Marcus didn't want to go anywhere near that wretched city. He and Tata needed to save themselves, to get as far away as they could. Now. I don't understand, Marcus said. Tata touched Marcus's hand. But you do. There are more than 10,000 people living in Pompeii. It's our duty to warn them of what is about to happen. Marcus tried to look away from Tata, but their eyes were locked together. And Marcus recognized something in Tata's gaze. It was the same determined look that Marcus had always imagined on the faces of his heroes as they prepared for their battles. Hadn't Odysseus and Hercules risked their lives over and over? Hadn't they plunged into danger without thinking about whether they'd come out alive? Marcus had read so many stories of heroic warriors, but it was only now, looking at his father, that he really understood what it meant to have honor, to be a hero. Marcus reached deep inside himself, trying to summon some courage of his own. To his surprise, he found more than he expected. He sat taller. Yes, I understand, Tata. Marcus saw the flash of pride on Tata's face before he turned around. He gave Peg a pat, and off they galloped on their tattered mare toward the doomed city of Pompeii. So there's a picture that Scott drew. And, I realized how important this chapter is, because one of the things that we're going to be talking about as the book goes on, and that I want you guys to think about, is how Marcus's character is changing through this story and where he's finding sources of strength and wisdom. So certainly he's looking back on those stories of the warriors like Odysseus and Hercules, but now he's with his dad. And I want you, for your quest, to think about the relationship between Tata and Marcus. What is Marcus learning from his father? New things. And how is Tata somehow, either directly by what he's saying to Marcus, or indirectly what he's doing and how he's acting, that's giving Marcus new ideas that'll maybe help him later in the book when he faces a huge challenge. So you can think about that as your quest. Maybe I'd like you to write that as a little letter to your teacher, what you're learning about how characters change as you're reading stories. And that's all I have for you today. So I hope that you're enjoying the story, and I look forward to seeing you next time.